Welcome back to the Greatest TV Show podcast. Woo! That was Mike on the drums trying out a new intro to the Greatest TV Show podcast.
Welcome back, Mr. Cotter!
Wow. Episode 5
Coming at you.
of the podcast, but it's actually episode 4 of the TV show.
That is correct.
Yes.
Way to do your math. Math.
We're getting pretty good at this, I think. Hopefully the audience out there likes it. You know?
Well, we've gotten feedback from ourselves, and it was very good. We like it. So if we like it, it's gotta be good.
That's right. And so another little time has passed since the last podcast. How's everything, Mike?
Pretty good. I can't complain. I mean, you could always complain, but who's listening? But no, everything's good. Everything is good. Good.
Sounds good. Great.
How you doing? Everything good on your side?
Oh yeah, excellent. Just relaxing, enjoying life, reading scripts.
Are you playing all b-ball after that school?
Outside of the hood?
Whatever. I don't know lyrics.
So how's your car nowadays? There's a reason I ask.
My car is great.
Got a reliable vehicular?
A vehicular, reliable, automatic start, and it starts every time you automatically start it.
Oh, that's good. I have the remote start on my car too. It's very handy.
We're back up in the times.
Yeah, that's I don't. A lot of people, they use the starter like 20 minutes before they go outside. I personally don't do that. I care for the environment.
Well, my car shuts off after 10.
Yes, most of them actually do that. But if people could, they would go 20 minutes.
So if you start for 20, it shuts off at 10, and then it's cold again.
Well, it doesn't take that long to get cold, okay? It takes at least 25 minutes.
Hot.
Car running for 10
hot
minutes.
outside. Hot. It's hot and wet.
Yeah, first world problems.
This is true.
Yeah. So I ask about your car today because the episode that we speak of is episode 4, Car Trouble, episode 1 of the Car Trouble Trilogy from the show.
Did you follow that?
Yes.
Season 1, episode 4, Car Trouble, episode 1.
Of the Car Trouble Trilogy. And this show came from a challenge to the writers. We said to them, we want to do one show about car trouble. And that's it. A car trouble episode. Because listen, all of you out there, you're listening. I don't know if it's in a car that you have trouble with or you don't have trouble with, but eventually the car will
have trouble with.
Or you did have trouble
We've
with.
all had our first car, and some of us had our second car that was not quite up to our current car.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, my first car was a 1986 Pontiac Fiero.
Mine was a 1986 Pontiac Trans Am.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Oh, those would have been
The
nice to
similarities.
race. Wait a second. Did you have V8 or V6?
I
What did
had
you
a
have in it?
V8.
No.
V6. I had a V8.
Oh, okay. Forget it. And I can't race.
I had a V8 and T-top.
Fiero only topped out at a V6. This is very fast, but not a V8 fast.
No. It's a 306 V8.
Oh, that's very nice. Very nice. Yeah, mine was red. What about you?
Red.
Oh, very nice. I like it.
It was nice.
So, really quick, those of you who are new to the episodes, the greatest TV show ever, disclaimer. Any resemblance to any real life occurrences is completely coincidental. This is Mike and Anthony coming at you, the actors who played Vinny and
Al.
And we were on the greatest TV show ever on television.
In our humble opinions.
In our, the numbers show also.
Yeah.
We have the numbers to back those facts. Back the facts.
Back facts.
And so, as you may have not heard from previous episodes, we don't have the rights to the TV show. We could not reach a deal with the studios. We just want to say this every episode.
So that everybody knows, all the new listeners aren't clueless.
Exactly. We refer to the characters on the show as fake names that we've made up, but we describe them in such a way so you can figure out who's who, and you can follow along the storyline of the greatest TV show ever.
Amen.
Okay, so let's begin with Car Trouble, episode 1 of the trilogy.
All right, so beginning with the first episode of the trilogy, everyone recalls the white 1990 Chevy Cavalier that Al was stuck driving.
1990, wow.
We all know the episodes took place in like the mid 2000s, so it's the writers definitely did not like Al. But and we all recall the episode where he was at his parents' house visiting, and the driveway was set up in quadrants where you had to be far to the right so the guys on the left could fit in, and that's what Al was trying to do. He was trying to get so far to the right so that everyone on the left could fit out.
Right, each family member had their own parking spot. Right? Yeah.
So Dad was in the driveway on the left, Mom was in the Dad was in the garage on the left side of the garage. Mom was in the right side of the garage. And then the oldest brother was in the back right. The second oldest brother was in the back top right. And then you had the other two brothers on the top left and bottom.
The driveway
left.
had a bit of an incline, right? If we remember.
It was like a 45-degree incline. It was a pretty steep incline.
Yeah.
But at the driveway, everyone parked as far as who left first in the morning, so the person doesn't get out, and that chronological order is how it was set up.
Very detailed. That was a flashback, right, on the episode.
Yes. So it was. I think it was a holiday time. There was no snow on the ground, but it was a holiday time, and I remember his dad was like, "All right, Al, make sure you park, the top right of the driveway, so I can get my truck out of the garage." And I was like, "All right." So Al, he goes a little too far to the right and drives off of the driveway. And the end of the driveway was a very, very like a drop off, but he had his father had 4x4 columns laid out so that it wasn't a steep drop off. At least you had that to keep you from
so toppling over.
Right. So Al drove off of the 4x4, damaged the wood. Had to call a tow truck
to yank it out
of the driveway.
You mean you didn't activate the 4-wheel drive on the?
I didn't have that chip. I didn't have that computer chip. So the tow truck comes, tows it across the street on street parking. And Al stayed overnight for the holidays, and we all remember the next day he comes out and the car doesn't start.
Oh yes,
this is all the same episode.
Yes, definitely. And of course, Al calls Vinny. Hey, you know how to change a starter? Of course, Al knew he just needed a second set of hands because mechanics out there listening, what it's involved in a compact car and where the starter is and how difficult it is to get to, right?
Right.
And we actually had some professional mechanics come on to the set to show us exactly how to remove it, but we wanted to keep the episode as real as possible, so right. Mike and I were under the car as Vinny and Al, and we were going to take this car apart, and we were going to get that starter out.
And if you recall, Al was on his way to his job interview, and he was in a full suit, and changed the starter in a full suit.
Oh yes,
that nice green, military green.
All right.
Pants and jacket with the light green button down. He was dressed to the nines.
And to throw a little curveball in there.
Dressing the Vines in a 90 casualty.
Throw the little curveball in there. The writers decided that the car would also have an oil leak.
That's right.
That had been going on for a long time.
For a little bit. You know, if we all recall, let's take it back to the beginning of the flashback. The whole episode is about this car and the different situations that it put Al in. Al got the car on Craigslist for, I think it was either I can't recall. It was $300 or $600. I think it was $600 on Craigslist.
Oh, the 90s. What you could buy.
This is the 2000s.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. 2000. It's a 1990 car.
The car was...
I got confused.
The car was at least 15 to 20 years old. So obviously, and the odometer didn't work, so who knows how many miles were actually on the thing. But it ran. It ran like a champ.
So recalling the episode.
So coming back to changing the starter.
Right.
So we're on the side of the street across from Al's parents' house, and no one's helping. It's just me and him, Al and Vinny, just changing this, which kind of made it even more comical because we had all the help in the world, and yet no one was out. No one in the world would help.
Right. Residential area was like we showed on the show that a few cars passed by, but nobody stopped or anything like that. We finally get the starter out, of course, and now we have to go to car parts store.
Right. And we get there. Now we're in Anthony's, the Astro van.
The Astro van, yes.
the Jetsons, the Astro. We get to this car place, and auto car parts store, and we put the thing on the counter.
We're covered in oil. We walk in.
Al's in a full suit.
Yes. And if you remember, the actor who played the employee at the
hilarious.
The car parts store. We walk in with the oil-drenched, and this is old oil, caked on to the starter because the heat from the engine, you all know, and if you don't experience it, if you have an oil leak and it's just hot, the car is hot, cold, that oil just gets caked on there. It's not liquidy as if you're pouring it out fresh. Al puts it on the counter, and the employee completely ad-libs the line, "What the fuck is that?" And we have to bleep it, but it was if we ever get the bloopers, the rights to show you the video, the behind the scenes.
We couldn't read.
Forget it. We lost it, all of it. But of course, thankfully, the great editing staff that we had, you cut it right there, and then we just reshoot the scene after that.
Because it's like this black chunk of metal on his counter.
Yeah, absolutely. And we couldn't even reshoot from before he says that line because I think we tried it 2 or 3 times, but when he says, "What the fuck is that?" we lose it. So we're like, forget it. Let's start shooting from after that line.
Right.
So we do not break character because it's just too much. It was way too funny. And Al, Mike, as good as actor as he is, he looks him dead in the eye and he says, "That's my starter. And I need a new one."
He's very proud. That's my starter.
That was good. Good stuff right there.
You have a starter for a 1925. Oh, goodness gracious. So, yeah. So we get the new one, we bring it back. I'm pretty sure it went in without a hitch.
Yeah, it was right. If I recall from the episode, that went in pretty quick. It's always harder taking it out than putting it in. That's what she said.
That's what she said. You take that episode off. You can take that show off the list.
Yes, we are not that show. They too have their own great. podcast.
Mechanic. They have their own podcast and a great scene with a mechanic who is not a mechanic.
Oh yes, that was a good scene. Yeah, absolutely.
If the sauce does not come on the side, I sent it back. Anyway, so Vinny helps. So we finish that scene. Al goes his way. Vinny goes his way. And then it shoots to the next scene of another flashback of, if you recall, Samantha. She was driving with Al, and they were coming back from Long Island. And they get about 2 miles from his house, and he runs out of gas.
I forget. They killed the gas meter. The gas meter on the car too, right? That didn't work in the car, I believe. Is that correct? Or did it work?
I believe it worked. I believe
it was just off,
Al just
right?
no, it was on. Al just thought he could make it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, reference
He's-
another
yeah,
show
so-
there. See how
and
far he can go.
So we
close
got to
E.
a light. We got to a light, and Al had to make a left. If you remember, he had his blinker on, and he just makes it to the line of the light, and the car dies. So the two of them hop out and literally push it across the street into a gas station, because the gas station was right there. But then there was a slight incline, so somebody, thankfully, a good Samaritan, this was unscripted, comes over and helps
Yes,
the two of us
yes.
push it up the hill and get into
Because
the gas pumps.
You are 6'2", and she was
Well, thank you, but no, 6 foot.
6 foot. Oh, I'm
You're
sorry.
6'2".
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or are we?
So you,
I could be 5'3". You know, we don't know.
And how old was your partner in crime? She was, what is she, 5'4", 5'2"?
Yeah. Yes,
These two
5'3",
pushing the
5'3".
little. I mean, thankfully it was a little tiny car.
But she also is like extremely strong. Like she was
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
gym every day.
I actually, that I mentioned my Fiero a while back, so I can tell you a quick story about that. I stalled on Route 17 once, going into Hasbrook Heights. All the New Jerseyans out there will appreciate the stories of New Jersey and everything. I stalled on 17. Little Pontiac Fiero, 2-seater. Those of you who know what it is. You can picture it. Those of you who don't know, Google it. I stalled in the middle of traffic. There was construction on the shoulder. I pushed this thing all by myself. Nobody. All by myself. Yes, Pontiac Fiero. There he goes. Sinatra Jr.
And he's back.
So yes, those of you experiencing car troubles, it gets better. Or worse. I don't know.
Or if you want to take it back to my 86 Trans Am.
Well, yours, I had an 86 Fiero too.
We've been through this already. Like,
Oh, we mentioned the
we
years?
mentioned the years.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Jeez,
Sorry.
please.
It's a long episode, It's like
where's he been?
15 minutes ago. I don't remember.
Anyway, so I'm driving along, and if anyone has seen the movie Tommy Boy, remembers that Tommy left the oil can in the hood, and the hood opens up on David Spade's character. And that happened to me in real life in my 86 Trans Am.
No,
we were in Florida.
Wow.
I was in Florida, and driving along Route 98, and it opened.
That is crazy. You think you know a guy.
I had to stick my head out the window like was it Ace Ventura? Pull over. It cracked the wind. It broke both pistons of the hood. It cracked the windshield on the two corners on both sides, driver and passenger side. I was with a friend of mine, and he hands me one of the pistons. Here, hold this. And obviously, I threw it because I was not in a good mood. And I'm like, why would you hand me something to hold on to? You know I'm going to throw it.
Wow.
And we were in someone's driveway.
And the whole hood came off? It was.
No, the hood just came up.
Oh,
it
just
stayed
came-
on. It stayed up.
Wow.
And we had to force it down. We actually removed it, and I put it in the back seat. So I drove without a hood.
Wow. That is something.
I actually ended up taking the hood and using it as a headboard in my dorm room, and I just drove around without a hood. Yep. No, that was my 86 Trans Am.
Wow.
So if any of you can relate, I doubt anyone can. That happened to me.
No. I mostly had mechanical things, starters and alternators. No car parts falling off ever.
I had a same car before the hood flew off, T-tops, in Florida. And if everyone knows how Florida is with the rain, so I came home from work, I took the T's off, and it was not a cloud in the sky. I went upstairs, took a shower, got dressed, came back down. It was pouring. I had a lake in my back seat.
I feel like we should be writing these stories down. Maybe we can make a TV show out of it.
So that'll do it for us here at the Greatest TV Show Podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Anthony.
And we're signing off.
And now a word from our sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, today's episode of the Greatest TV Show Podcast was brought to you by the Greatest TV Show Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a new podcast about a show that we all love, starring those two great actors, Michael and Anthony, playing Al and Vinny, just tune in to the Greatest TV Show Podcast. You're going to laugh your ass off.